Hi guys, and welcome to another video from Rossi Audio. This video is going to be more like a tribute to the history of audio. Sadly, I have to say that technology and development of technology, well, in most cases it's a good thing, isn't it? Not necessarily all the time. One area that shows really well is in the audio business. Today we have lifestyle products that sucks. We have products like Bose, Sonos, and plenty of others. And they're basically the same. They play like shit and they're crappy quality. So I wanted to do something. I want to go back in time. I made a list of guys, persons, people that I think deserve a thank you and deserve some attention, because they are the ones who really put sound, audio, hi-fi, and sound reproduction the way we know it and have been knowing it for the last 80 to 100 years. They are the guys who pioneered everything. They are the guys who made breakthroughs that we have been enjoying for a long, long time. Sadly, all the things that they created and developed and invented is now kind of like disappearing, and it's kind of like just going away. So the list that I have is very long, and I'm sure there are other people's that I could have put on the list. But for me, this is a list of people that is important the way I see it. So if you have any other names, please make a comment below. I know there's more names out there that should be recognized, okay? And this is in no alphabetical order. There's no order to it. I just take the list the way it is. And we should absolutely pay attention and tribute to a guy like Peter L. Jensen, who founded, it was back in 1915, he founded the Jensen Company, and they have been pioneers all through. Ever since they started up, they have come out with really, really good products, up until mid-80s when they got bought out and suffered the same destiny as so many else. So Jensen and Peter L. Jensen for sure, he's a guy that needs recognition. Gene Cerwin-vega of Cerwin-vega, first guy to make a solid-state amplifier, first guy to make an 18-inch woofer slash subwoofer that played 130 dB below 30 hertz. I know some people like to discuss that, but it's the facts. He definitely put his name out there, and he definitely changed the world of audio. He deserves a lot of credit. James B. Lansing, behind the Lansing Corporation and JBL, also a pioneer, made a lot of advanced products and did stand for a lot of development and sound products in the right direction. The founder of JBL really needs to be recognized. Then of course we have Henry Claus, the guy behind KLH and Advent and maybe some more products. He was maybe not of the older guys, I mean like early 1900s or something like that. He came in at a later time frame, but still he made an impact, and that's what we're talking about here. People that makes an impact. I'm going to come back to what we have today. Bob Carver, also not an old, goes very old or goes very way back, but he made an impact when he first hit the markets. So Bob Carver and his amplifiers really, really, really should be recognized and paid tribute to. Then we have Lou Burrows and Albert Kahn. They founded Electro-voice, and they did also a lot of things for the audio business. So not to make this video too long, I'm not going to go into greater details, but then say that Lou Burrows and Albert Kahn also needs recognition. John Curl, maybe the youngest product on this tree here, the guy behind Parasound. Parasound to me came onto the market when the market started losing some of their oomph and a little bit of their credibility. A lot of amplifier companies started to take some shortcuts, especially in the affordable segment. I'm not saying that Parasound was an affordable segment or an entry level, because it was not, but they were not priced that high, and they came in with quality like they crushed a lot of competition. So definitely John Curl needs to have his name recognized and his work recognized. Another one that might be a little bit surprising to many is Per Abrahamsen from Norway, the guy behind Electro-compania. And the reason he's on this list is because he did the same thing as John Curl. He came in onto the market and built quality that outshined a lot of competition at that time. And Michael Jackson chose Electro-company amplifiers for use in his studio and mixing of his albums. That tells you that that product and that guy really needs a place in history of audio. Then we have John Bowers and Peter Hayward, the guys behind Bowers and Wilkins. We know what Bowers and Wilkins have been doing. Not an old company by any means or any standard, but they still have put their signature on the market. And we all know about the Nautilus and stuff. I mean, they really put their names out there. Then we go to a guy named Guy Fontaine. Way older. This is early 1900s. And he started up a company in England called Tannoy. And he also was a trendsetter. He set the standard for many things. And not that he maybe developed or invented technology, but the products he made were of such high standard and have been ever since. So Guy Fontaine really deserves a place in history. Another maybe surprised name is Gilbert Briggs of Wharfdale, also in England. Goes way back, way back. And Wharfdale, from the early days up until late 70s, early 80s, was really, really good. They were a benchmark speaker for many. And of course, they suffered the same fate as many others. They got bought out and the quality went down. And especially Wharfdale, because Wharfdale was like a ball that was thrown around between several. And they were like a licensed company, so anyone could make, who bought a license, could make Wharfdale speakers for a certain period of time. So they suffered really bad, and this is what I'm going to come back to. If we go really, really, really way back, and we look at RCA, the company RCA, David Sarnoff and Owen D. Young, they are the guys behind RCA. We can't get away from the audio business without looking at the radio business and the telecom business. And you might say that, well, Edison and Bell was, yes, they also had a finger in this. So Edison and Bell and all that had a big finger in the audio, but they were more or less purely telecom and radios. But RCA has a lot of crossovers. They were doing radios, and they were doing they've been doing audio, they've been doing television, so they have had a huge impact on the business. of sound and production of sound and distributing of sound. So I felt that the founders of RCA definitely had a place on this list. And of course, Paul Wilbur Klipsch. We all know the history of Klipsch. He deserves a place on this list. He needs to be recognized. I know I make a lot of joke about Klipsch and I give him a lot of grief online. But bottom line, they made good products. So for all means, they should be on the list. Maybe now the most important ones. All the ones that I have mentioned are very important for the sound industry and the audio business. We now come to the founders of Western Electric Company. And we're talking about, there was like 3 guys that was involved in this. Early on, you got George Schwach, or whatever his name is pronounced, and Enos M. Barton, and Elisha Gray. Here's the thing, Elisha Gray was the one who, after some internal things, took the company and then later on incorporated it as Western Electric and started the audio division out of it, because before that Western Electric was more or less like a telecom company. And so when Elisha Gray came in and did some changes and moved the company and incorporated it as Western Electric, that's when they started for full force making audio equipment. They are maybe the single most important company. They are also the ones who were behind Altec. And Altec bought out Lansing Corporation from the guy who started JBL, and there was some things going on there, so he had to call it JBL, James B. Lansing, because Altec had bought the name Lansing. So JBL became JBL because of that. But Western Electric was behind Altec, and Altec bought out Lansing. That's why they became Altec Lansing after a while. So, why do I make a list like this? You might say, well, there are people making stuff today. Yeah, they're making stuff today. But look at how they're making it, and look at who's behind it. You have today, you cannot, you can say, well, there's a custom speaker company in Germany that makes speakers that cost 200,000 euros, and you have this other company that sells speakers that cost 100,000 or a million or whatever. Not of interest. These are the guys who made audio available for you, me, and everyone. I'm not talking about some hyped up, overpriced audiophile wannabe sitting in a corner in an office somewhere, building a $1,000 speaker and selling it for 100,000. That's not what I'm talking about. Today, most of these companies are owned by corporations that has no soul, no attachment to the history, no attachments to the product itself. The only thing they care about is the bottom line. And if you look at the development of new products today, it is a sad story. The audio business is producing lower and lower quality. Look at Denon, look at Marantz, look at NAD. You can take anyone. The quality is going down. The prices are going up. The durability is going down. So these are the guys who made the real equipment. Today they're making shit that is not worth even $1. If you look around in here, you will find very little modern stuff. I have some pro audio amps from Carver from the mid-90s and early 2000s. And I wouldn't go any newer than that, and I would only go pro if I would go amps. If I go hi-fi, I go older. 1984 and backwards. So these guys and these companies were the one that propelled the audio industry to the point where we today are sitting on these Facebook groups and enjoying it and talking about it and sharing pictures and information and specifications and having an argument every now and then and all that shit. These are the guys who did that. They created all that. Harman Group sold to Samsung for $8 billion. Where do you think those products are going to go? Straight down the drain. And it's the same story with everyone else. Look at Marantz, look at Denon. Boston Acoustic is now the part of the same company. Look at Cerwin-vega, it's part of Gibson. I mean, Gibson doesn't know jack shit about speakers. They can barely make playable guitars, for God's sake. And now they're gonna, and they have really deserted Cerwin-vega. They haven't come out with a Cerwin-vega model in years. Stanton was the ones who released a lot of the models Cerwin-vega now have. So if you look at what is happening, and if you look at Wharfdale too, what happened to Wharfdale was a sad story. You maybe have one or two companies here and there that are owned by a person that really cares. And I'm not talking about the people that owns companies that sell speaker solutions or amplifier solutions for hundreds of thousands or millions of dollars per item. Because for them, it's all about milking the most amount of money, and they're not making any products for the mainstream customer base or the grassroots base or whatever. Today, the audio business is slowly dying. The audio business is slowly dying day by day, and it will come to a point where if you think vintage audio is expensive today, just wait another year or two or maybe 3 or at least 5 years from now. If you're still alive and you still have a huge collection of vintage audio, you might have bought yourself a golden ticket and a retirement fund that is way better than a 401k. I'm not saying that all vintage products are going to do it, but everything is going to go up. But of course it has to be in good condition and the right models and all that stuff. But if you sit on a good collection, you might just have secured your future and your retirement. I am so glad that I'm not growing up today. I'm so glad I'm not one of these millenniums, babies and millennials, or being born today and have to go through the shitty stuff they're making today. I just hope that we, our generation, can educate the new generation on the old stuff and keep it alive. So this is my little tribute to the audio business and the guys on this list. If you have another guy or another person to add on to the list, please add it on below in the comment field and let us know. I know there's more guys out there, but for me, these are the guys that I look up to and think that they deserve recognition for what they have done. So with that, thank you. See you later.